First story from AmericanMilitaryNews.com. Video. Texas prepared for standoff with Biden. 10 states send troops and law enforcement to the border. Governor Abbott told former Fox News host Tucker Carlson Friday that 10 states have already sent National Guard troops or other law enforcement members to the southern border to aid Texas in the face of growing pressure from President Joe Biden's administration to allow Border Patrol agents to remove razor wire barriers the state installed to deter illegal immigrants from pouring into the state. During Friday's interview with Carlson, Abbott said he would be surprised if any of the 25 Republican states that have pledged to support his state did not send additional assistance. Quote, there have been about 10 states so far that have sent National Guard or other law enforcement, Abbott said. They are now joined together with us, and this is a fight for the future of America. Now, I don't know what's currently going on. News is happening it's changing rapidly with what's happening on the border. Right. Today was the deadline. The Biden administration was supposed to do something. Apparently, I've seen some people spreading a rumor that there was some, they said, okay, today's the deadline, but then they said something like 6 p.m., and I have not heard anything just yet. Some people are saying there's very little information coming out because something is actually going on behind the scenes, but I don't know for sure. Part of me wants to believe, because of normalcy and optimism bias, this will all blow over. But considering Ben Shapiro is the #1 rapper in the world, I think it's more likely to just erupt in the most absurd way imaginable.
I think it's important to point out that at one time, Democrats spoke like Donald Trump did about illegal immigration and about the borders. People like Chuck Schumer, people like Harry Reid. After the first bombing of the World Trade Center, Harry Reid even talked about how the 14th Amendment is interpreted to confer citizenship to an illegal alien who has a baby on American soil. He thought that was wrong. They even use the term illegal alien. People like that said this kind of stuff. Amy Klobuchar said it. Dianne Feinstein said it. Now all of a sudden they've done a 180, and anybody who feels the way Donald Trump feels is a bigot.
No, it's crazy. I think our country forgets that at one point we were willing to talk openly about the ills of illegal immigration. Right. As a country, we became afraid of being called racist. And then we said, it's okay, we'll just leave the border open. And now everyone else pays the cost of it, both financially and psychologically. It really detracts from the American spirit if we have a class of people in this country who are not actually a part of it. And we say to the illegal immigrants, the things that you did to get here, the sacrifices you made, were actually for nothing because you don't get the benefits of crossing illegally.
I think it's less that people are concerned about being called racist and more that the Democrats realized this is a big voting constituency and they wanted to change the electorate because they were losing elections. America was a 50-50 nation, but you bring in a bunch of people who are going to pull the lever for the Democratic Party, they assume, and all of a sudden you're guaranteed a governing coalition for Democrats in the future. That's why they're doing this.
Yeah, it's pull the lever or just change the census data.
But it gives them congressional seats and electoral votes.
Of course.
The argument that you hear them make to the average person that's, say, like low political information is that
You mean stupid people.
I'm trying to be nice. Is that our unfunded liabilities are going to destroy the economy, and we need to have people come in to work because we do not have replacement levels of having babies and stuff. And I think that there is some validity to the argument, which is why I think it's convincing. I think that gets to, I think that makes enough of an argument to convince people that are low information. What do you think is the best way to convince them? Because I talk to people that they'll see stuff on the internet,
even if that argument,
they don't believe
even
it.
if the argument had validity, that population getting older, unfunded pension liabilities, so-called entitlements, so we need to bring in new people in order to make them contribute so that these people can get their full benefits. It still has to be legal. We have to know who they are. What they're here for, what their intentions are. You just can't come across a border and go, okay, well, you're solving our unfunded pension liability problem. It's ridiculous.
And I got to say, before I would ever accept that proposed solution, I would accept if you have 3 babies, you pay 0 federal taxes.
I'd love it.
Yeah.
My only point, or the only point in asking that question, and the thing that I'm concerned with is convincing people that the situation is untenable, convincing them that this is actually a problem. Because I do believe that most people don't pay attention. Most people don't really watch the news very closely, and then when they do, they tend to listen to what the talking heads say, and they assume that that's the truth. Michael Malice talks about, when you tell the average person that the news is lying to them, it's like you're being told that the meteorologist is lying to you, and he knows, right?
Right.
Most people think the news is telling the truth. And my concern is convincing them that we actually do have a real problem, and so I want to know what people think the best way to actually to move the needle, because it's coming to a head where it's possible that we could meme ourselves into actual conflict. Like, everything is theater until someone actually does something. And anytime you get dudes with guns in close proximity with opposing interests, there's a chance for that. And I don't want to see that happen.
Well, Phil, let's talk about the original sin here. The original sin is Joe Biden.
100%.
He comes in and he literally says, essentially, the borders are open. During the debate against Donald Trump, he said there's going to be a surge to the border. He promptly reverses every single one of the Trump policies that gave us the most secure border in our history. And I know that it is. I'm staying in a hotel where you guys send me. There are a whole bunch of DEA guys there, Border Patrol guys there. And I had a conversation with one right before I got into the car to come over. Yeah, at the hotel I stay at, where you send me.
Yeah.
And they had a whole bunch of Border Patrol people staying there. And I talked to them, told them where I was going. They knew who you were. And I said, Donald Trump often says that when he was president, we had the most secure border in our history. Is that true? And there were two guys there. They said, absolutely, it was true. And they said it was like a switch was turned on when Joe Biden came in. He stopped the Stay in Mexico program. He resumed catch and release. The Mexicans took off the 25,000 people they had in their military and moved them elsewhere. The problem then exploded, he said, overnight. There was a illegal alien coming across the border being interviewed by a woman named Martha Raddatz. She's a longtime reporter with ABC News. And she said to him, if Donald Trump had gotten reelected, would you be here? He said no. And she was shocked. And he said, why? And he said, Joe Biden has given us permiso. Change the rhetoric, change the policies, and that's why they're here. So that's the original sin. And so Joe Biden should have seen this coming. You think America's going to sit around and watch millions of people coming across the country and do nothing about it? Are you serious?
And the reason why they're
basically asked for it.
The reason they're coming to Eagle Pass is because of the controversy. Mm-hmm. Because you have, if they go to other places, I think Lukeville is in Arizona. They're places where there's a lot of controversy. You have leftist organizations they know are prepared to accept you and fight on your behalf to enter.
Right.
Whereas if they go to some random, open border, like I should say unprotected border area, private property or otherwise, they could get shot. Mm-hmm. You go to Eagle Pass, let the right and the left fight about it, and the Border Patrol agents bring you in, bring you to where you need to go, where someone gives you money. But I'll say, I don't have a particularly high opinion of Border Patrol agents right now. However, should that report be correct from I think it's from Colin Rugg that the Border Patrol Union announced support for Texas, then I'm on board. But CBP agents have to stop facilitating the human smuggling. I see a video of them raising the razor wire to assist human smugglers. Those guys have committed a crime.
They're just following orders. They're just following orders.
Oh, all the more reason they should be in prison.
They're just following orders. They don't want to do this. They want to keep their jobs. They're just following orders. And Phil, to your point,
they should be in prison.
To your point, it is becoming an issue. In Iowa, it's the number one issue. It's not even a border state. I've been traveling all throughout Iowa. They weren't talking about this when I was there. It's now become the number one issue over inflation, over the economy in Iowa. And the most ingenious thing that the Southern governors did was start sending these people to cities like Chicago, in New York, and Martha's Vineyard, because then it came to them, and all of a sudden now that they're taking this problem seriously, or more seriously than before.
I have a friend, a good friend of mine, that was he's got a friend that actually works at Border Patrol, and he isn't even, he's not even convinced that they're, like I said, he's not even convinced there's a problem. He's like, well, my friend says that if they're here illegally, that Texas can just put them over the border. And he says, so this is actually a show from DeSantis and a show from Abbott. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that these people are coming and asking for asylum, and that's why. That's right. And that's the problem. And
they're being processed in.
Yeah.
And they let them in. They give you a court date 3-4 years down the road. They don't show up. In fact, I asked one of the guys today, we have 8 million illegal aliens in the country since Joe Biden. He said that number is probably accurate. I said, how many of them are going to be deported if and when Donald Trump comes back? He said, I don't see how we can possibly write them up and get them out. They're here for good.
I'm pretty sure we dealt with this when who was the head of ICE a few years back?
Tom Homan.
Homan, right. I'm pretty sure in his testimony, he outright said it doesn't matter if they're seeking asylum. Crossing through asylum legally, you must go to a legal port of entry and make a declaration. That means the CBP agents, who there's a video of them opening a gate in the bollard fence and waving them in. And these aren't the only instances.
Again, they were just following orders, though, Tim.
Which is an excellent reason why I hold them 10 times more responsible than I would if they were actually, you're saying they're intentionally committing felonies because they were told to. Does not change the fact they committed felonies.
Well, that's a fair argument, but Joe Biden and Mayorkas are telling you with a straight face the borders are secured.
No, Biden said the border's not secure.
He said it recently.
Yeah,
but before that, when Mayorkas said the borders are secured,
he doesn't know what's going on.
The press secretary confirmed that she thought the borders were secured.
I think I completely agree. Joe Biden should be impeached over this and convicted over this.
Talk about insurrection.
Subverting the law, a violation of Article. Greg Abbott says Article 4, Section 4, and Article 1, Section 10, and so now he's actively trying to stop the state from defending itself.
Right.
Yeah, I think for this, Biden should be impeached and convicted, and following his impeachment and conviction, criminally charged along with people in his administration. That being said, the challenge we face right now is the political barrier of we don't want the Democrats to be able to sub out Joe Biden at a time when Joe Biden is like, we want the people to vote to bring in Donald Trump to solve the problem. We actually impeach and convict Joe Biden. They could bring in Michelle Obama or Gavin Newsom, and it's going to benefit them. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.